What's good, y'all? It's me, Chris, back here with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing a few hot topics in a new series I like to introduce called Now You Know. So in Now You Know, we'll just be discussing a few more conversations. We'll be able to give more thoughts and opinions about a few more topics. I'm able to cast a broader net and find something that will be appealing to anyone that is into watching my channel. Of course, I will continue to do the more like video style, longer video format where I break down one singular topic and discuss that for about 10 to 20 minutes. But I'm trying something out, trying to like give you guys a little bit more for your time sitting down and watching me throughout your week. I just want to say thank you guys. We have a few more new subscribers that have joined the Chris B. Noah family. I see y'all. Y'all see me at least once a week. So you know, it's a good exchange going on here. So thank you guys so much for being part of the Chris B. Noah family. And let's get into this video. There's a lot of things we got to talk about. So the first thing I want to talk about is this Basketball Wives reunion. It has been so much chatter on social media. I will say that I used to watch Basketball Wives heavies, watch the Miami franchise, I watched the LA franchise, but probably about like 5 or 6 seasons in, when they started getting away with the Miami girls and started kind of like blending the cast into one, I just thought that, you know, this seems so repetitive and it's kind of boring. Shawnee was talking about taking the show in a different direction, you know, having the show have less violence and less arguments, be a more positive space for women, and I was like, that's great. I'm not saying that like women not arguing or not fighting isn't like entertaining, but like just the direction that Shawnee's team had went in, it was just boring. It wasn't like must watch TV. So I kind of just like fell off by the wayside, and I wasn't invested in the show any longer. But I've been hearing a lot about the colorism in this current season. So I am up to date with all the conversation that has been going around Basketball Wives and the colorism. I did watch the last season before, I just want to say that. I watched it pretty much all the way through, but I wasn't that invested. So I really wasn't going to watch this. So when everyone was talking about it, I was like, damn, okay, let me just keep up with the conversation. But I was like, you know what? Let me check out this reunion because I want to see, like, do I have a reason to be mad? Like, I could see everyone's like reasoning, totally valid. What everyone was saying, what everyone was showing, what everyone was talking about, totally colorism, one-on-one. But I was like, let me just see for myself. So I took a lot of notes. So if you see me looking down and referring to this, this is what I'm doing. But y'all, this reunion was too much. It was too much. So we start the show and the girls are getting ready backstage, and this type of format just seems kind of unnecessary to me. Like, maybe this would be some cute content to put on like YouTube or as an exclusive on bh1.com, but it just feels very wasteful to me. Like, I really like, you know, let's hit the ground running, get the girls up on the stage, asking them questions that the audience want answers to. Like, let's start the show just with a bang. Like, this type of stuff just seems like casual, passive content that seems unnecessary. But a few takeaways from the girls backstage. One, OG looked really freaking good without any makeup on. Like, just so fresh faced, so like bright, awake, just glowy. Like, you know she's drinking her water, you know she's taking her multivitamins, like just like a honeydew melon, just dewy and sweet and juicy. Like, I don't know, she looked really good to me. Malaysia, with her sunglasses and hat, like, can we retire that shit? It's so tired. Y'all be doing these celebrity interviews and acting like y'all better than that with these sunglasses on. Like, there's just so many things that I be thinking, like, I can't see you, I can't trust you. Like, you act like you can't ask somebody to dim the lights, put some shades on, put the shades on some curtains. Like, it's just like too school for cool vibes, and I'm over it. Like, we can retire it. Maybe, you know, 2020 is coming up, so y'all got like 2 more months of this, and then it's done, okay? And then here comes Shawnee and Evelyn, the Colors Coalition, just sitting over here at all their sad attempts with their broad strokes of just painting this picture of OG being aggressive and them feeling like intimidated and that their safety is at risk. Like, it was just so frustrating and annoying to see. And it was great that the juxtaposition of that was another shot of OG just being calm and collective. Like, she showed up to this battle prepared, ready for war. And the color coalition was just over there in so much stress. So then here come Mark coming backstage to OG and letting her know that the girls requested that she be filmed on a separate stage. My first thought was like, Shawnee is a whole ass boss. Shawnee is like an executive producer of the show. Shawnee is a part of the cast. Like, why isn't she coming back to delivering this news? Like, all Mark could say was like, well, that's what I was told, and came to let you know. And it's like, how cowardly of Shawnee to not stand in her conviction. That's another thing that I have a problem with. It's like, you so passive aggressive. You're such a bully. Like the girl saying online, you are a bully. That's a bully boss ass move to take the host of your show and do your dirty work. Like, we already know Mark don't even watch the show. We already know Mark is not really invested in the show. So to have him come back here and delivering this type of news, and he's just the host. Like, he don't have no creative say in the show as far as like who's gonna sit where, who's casted, who's in certain scenes. Like, Shawnee is a part of those decisions making. So why wouldn't Shawnee come backstage to announce this information? Like, that to me just seemed so cowardly and so less than. And you know Jackie, she always gotta show a little cuckoo. So here she comes throwing a little tantrum talking about if she don't sit next to Mark, she won't sit on stage. I'm like, damn, is your storyline that dry that that's all you could come up with at the beginning of this reunion? Is that you gonna throw a little fit about not sitting next to Mark Lamont Hill? Like, all right, sis, like, it's entertaining, but like, come on, Jackie, like, you ain't gotta do that. If anything, I'd rather you put that energy into having fought for OG to keep her up on the main stage. Like, you could put that energy towards that instead of caring about where you was sitting. Like, we gonna see you, you gonna be heard, and you gonna be seen, so it don't really matter. Like, but whatever, I've grown to like Jackie, actually, so and she's earned her spot, in my opinion. So if she wants to sit next to the Mark, go ahead, sis. Do your thing. So the girls are finally all on stage. OG has decided that she is not going to stay, that it is not fair, that she will not get put on the main stage, and that she is not allowed to address the issues face to face with all the other cast members on the stage. So she dips. She's like, I'm not having this. And I think totally fair. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm showing up here. I'm not any more violent than any of these other girls. If anything, most of the girls are way violent and aggressive than me. I'm here to speak my piece. I'm a cast member on the show. So why don't I get to sit on the main stage with the other girls? It doesn't make any sense. Nah, I'm not going to be treated like some animal in some locked up ass cage. So I'm dipping. So she dipped. So with the girls, on stage without OG, and first part of the conversation was Evelyn and OG confrontations, and Evelyn having a problem with OG contacting Chad, talking about why would you address my abuser to prove a point. And it's like, sis, you went to Chad, you went to the nigga who knocked you upside your head, who you haven't even talked in 7 years with, to engage in some petty argument with OG because you think she ugly and you think that there's no way that your ex-nigga wouldn't be invested in some dark-skinned black woman. Like, you did that. And it showed that Chad, and you must have had some hand in it because Chad gave you receipts with deleted text messages. So Chad clearly was invested in playing this game. So it's funny that, like, you could do it, but she can't. She can't pull up her accurate receipts, like, when you're the one throwing, like, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like, they constantly try to victimize themselves. It's like, how dare you cross a line when they're literally, like, over your line, up in your face. Like, it didn't make any sense. It was making me so mad that Evelyn had the nerve to say that OG was out of line for contacting Chad or pulling up receipts that she had with Chad, when OG was just making it clear of, like, your nigga was into me. He wanted to see pictures of me. He wanted to hang out with me. But no, I made it very clear that I have someone. I'm in a relationship. But thank you for the flattery. Thank you for the conversation. How is that unfair? How is that unfair? So then Mark positions the conversation talking about colorism. And of course, everyone does this constantly. They bring up Kristen and Jennifer. I would get tired if I was Kristen and Jennifer. Like, oh, we got dark-skinned girls up on the stage. And it's like, y'all not listening. We've said this time and time again, Kristen and Jennifer have Eurocentric features. Like, it's not just a matter of OG being dark-skinned. It's also her features. And even before that, there's been plenty of seasons where they vilify the dark-skinned black woman, like Tammy, Royce. Like, they've done this. I can't remember the one black woman name who was trying to be like a little pop star. I cannot remember her name, but they did that the same thing to her. And it's like, OG is now just the evolved version of that. It's like, well, there ain't no other dark-skinned black women anymore. And it's like, oh, clearly you fit the bill, you know, of outside of these beauty standards, you're our newest target. And it's like, there's been a pattern. So it's very, to me, it's very dismissive when they go like, well, Kristen and Jennifer are right there. And it's like, that's not the point. That's not what we're talking about. And it's so annoying for Shaunie to keep going with this narrative of being OG when she's sitting right next to one of the most violent cast members of this show's history. Literally, multiple times, we've seen Evelyn throw bottles. We've seen her hop over tables. The bitch has literally like tried to tear down multiple people physically, and somehow Shaunie is not afraid. Okay. This is not about safety, because if this was about safety, all y'all motherfuckers would be in separate rooms filming, okay? Now, one of y'all would be sitting next to each other because y'all all violent and aggressive. And there's nothing wrong. That's what we tune into the show for. But, like, don't sit up here and act like one instance of OG threatening and actually being violent is the same to, like, Evelyn's history. Like, when the girls got the receipts. You're not gonna fool me like that. You're not gonna make it seem like this is a safety issue when all y'all sitting on stage. When you got Malaysia on stage with Jennifer, when that bitch just threw a whole fucking table at her. Bitch picked up a table across the room, but it's cool for them to sit on stage. I'm not believing none of this shit. I'm not believing none of this shit. Honestly, for me, with the whole OG, Evelyn, Shaunie situation, I do think that it stems from jealousy. That they are intimidated by OG, that OG is someone who speaks her mind. She holds them accountable. She's very like straightforward and direct. And I think their response to it has been colorism. But I don't think it stems from colorism. But these women are clearly not okay with OG in their presence. And so to combat that, they berate her with colorist remarks. And you just hate to see it. So quick commentary on Phoebe. She was not on the last season that I had watched. This was her first season, and they were doing a little bit of her backstory at the reunion. Excuse me, the reunion. I was like, oh, you a rapper? Like, we blend in Love and Hip Hop with Basketball Wives? Like, okay, I think your audition was like the next door over. Like, Love and Hip Hop was next door, and somehow you stumbled into Basketball Wives. All right. So then this conversation with Shaunie and Jennifer come up, and Shaunie's like, I'm so mad that you keep bringing up the father of my children. And it's like, what does your children have to do with Shaq? Like, you talking about a grown-ass man. What he got to do with your kids? If anything, like, point the energy towards that nigga. That's the nigga who you should be having the audacity to be like, how you going to cheat on me when we got children? How you going to cheat on me when we're two public-ass personas, two public-ass personalities? We're celebrities. Like, put the energy towards him. Like, stop weaponizing your children and trying to use that as some type of defense shield to not engage in, like, the foolery that is your TV show. Like, what? And then walking off the stage and being dramatic. Like, Shaunie, you're hella boring. Shaunie's hella boring. I don't know why Shaunie won't just gracefully fall out of the cast. Like, Shaunie is boring. So I guess this was like her opportunity to be like dramatic and theatrical, like, but sis, you gotta wrap it up. You're boring as fuck. So I guess this is your moment to like engage with the fuck shit. But it's just like, stop weaponizing your children. Put the energy towards Shaq. Hold him accountable for his actions, not Jennifer for calling out and letting people know what's going on when you was holding on to whole ass secrets from Evelyn and other cast members. Like, come on now. I'm just tired of Shawnee pretending to be like this neutral, nice girl. Like, she pretends to be so objective and uninvolved, and it's like, you biased as fuck. Like, you clearly have favorites. She constantly like throws stones and put her hands behind her back, and I'm tired. It's just like, own up to what you do. Just stand in your conviction. Have a little bit of gusto when you speak, and just say it with your chest. Like, I don't like you, and I like Evelyn, and I got favorites. I would respect that way more instead of Evelyn. Instead of Shawnee just trying to play neutral with everyone. So OG comes back and they put her on the separate stage, and I guess that's great for OG because then she could at least get out all of her grievances and be able to address the other girls. But it's kind of like, I wish she wouldn't. I wish she would have just like stuck in her decision and decided that if she wasn't going to be treated as an equal and a fellow cast member of the show, then she just wasn't going to be a part of it. But like, I understand. And of course there's an eye roll from Shawnee, and surprisingly, like, Malaysia has so much to say about this. She was just like, it's not colorism. Once again, there's Kristen and Jennifer, and I'm a brown skinned girl. And it's like, girl, shut up. You disassociate yourself so much from blackness. Your name being LaQuisha, not Malaysia. Apparently, there's rumors, allegedly, that she bleaches her skin. Look, like I just said, she refers to herself as brown skin. Bitch, you dark skin. And there's nothing wrong with that. And of course, there's even different shades of dark black skin. But like, it's just this weird cognitive dissonance that Malaysia has with her blackness, and I just feel like you not want to really talk about colorism when you high-key don't like yourself. So then they end the reunion, and they're like, you will see you next week with the part 2. And I'm like, man, we wouldn't have needed a part 2. We wouldn't have this like dressing room clip. But they end the episode with them having a clip of Mark and Shawnee sitting in a separate room one-on-one, and they're going to discuss colorism. And Shawnee seems so annoyed. She seems so annoyed. Like, she's just going to act clueless and evade all accountability. Like, I think if they were going to have this colorism conversation, they should have had like OG there as well. Maybe someone who is an expert on said topic, I think would have been really good. But I'm gonna watch next week's reunion, y'all. Like, I'm glad y'all been talking about this on Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook. Like, it's been great to be a part of the conversation and finally watch the reunion and get all caught up and just see all this foolery and fuckery that's going on. And thank you guys for raising my blood pressure. I appreciate it. The next topic I want to talk about is there's this Twitter account, really popular, big Twitter account that remained anonymous. It was supposed to be kind of like this positive, affirming account, like these daily reminders of like, do you eat? Did you do your skincare routine? Did you take water? And so they had gained a huge following. They were up to like 180,000 followers, and they were talking about in the past few weeks that they wanted to have a reveal and that they were feeling anxious about still remaining anonymous, and that if they were going to do a reveal, that they wanted to have some type of like brand and deal associated with it, because they just didn't want their anonymity to be sacrificed without some type of like gain from it, which is understandable. And I'd also imagine like it is kind of like anxious ridden to like have such a large following and people like not know who you are, kind of feel like there's a bit of like a wall barrier between you and the other people that you're interacting with online. So they were leading on to that they were going to reveal themselves and announce who they were. So on this past Friday, unbeknownst to all of us, they decided to reveal who they were in a paper magazine spread online. And the gag is that EmoBlackThot revealed themselves to be a bisexual black man. A man, y'all. And the reason why this is so surprising, because everyone was under the pretense that this was a woman. Like, Black Twitter is very involved in interacting with this account. There was many times where they would talk about periods and menstrual cycles. They had they had she and they pronouns in their bio information. There was constant conversation about being a black woman attending a predominantly white institution. Like, it was very clear. They also announced that they were bisexual. So like, everyone was under the pretense that this was like a bisexual black woman, and little to us, it was a man. So this black man came out with this reveal, had a full-on rollout. Like I said, a spread in paper magazine, had linked their personal Twitter account, Isaiah Hicklin, I believe is his name, had that linked to the EmoBlackThot account, and also had like a full-on like 25-minute YouTube video just discussing the whole ordeal of why they needed to why they created this Twitter account and why they kind of like masqueraded on for a black woman for so long. Like, it was a full-on production. So rightfully so, everyone was gooped, especially black women, because black women had so much invested into this Twitter account. The first question I propose is like, why did it need to be done through a major publication? Like, if you were feeling that like anxious and that guilty about you know, leading on a persona that was not yours, an identity that was not yours, then why not just do a face reveal and like delete the account? Like, why did it need to be like this major rollout? Like, why was there an article? Why was there a YouTube video? Like, oh, got it, because you wanted to gain some type of access. You wanted the opportunities from it. Like, just very opportunistic, very much just like, I'm not doing this because I feel bad. I'm doing this because I want to gain something from this. And it's like, you got to 10,000 followers, you didn't reveal yourself. You got to 50,000 followers and you didn't reveal yourself. You got to over 100, you got to 180,000 followers and then you decide to reveal yourself. Like, it's clear on like what your intentions were, and that's very much suspect as to why you wouldn't, if you really felt that bad, why you just wouldn't reveal yourself way on earlier in the process and just delete the account. And people probably would have been upset, but at least you would have known that it was being out of like from a true genuine place, not on some type of like, oh, I'm trying to gain access and resources, just real opportunistic, like I said. And then this nigga tried to capitalize and did it on National Coming Out Day. Like, the audacity. Like, when we say coming out, this is not what we're talking about. This is not what we're talking about. I would appreciate if no one else revealed themselves in this manner on National Coming Out Day again. Please don't. That's hopping on some bandwagon shit. Like, what the fuck? Also, people donated money to her under the impression that she was a black woman. You know, she was really good about telling people to like drop their cash apps, and hopefully people could get fed lunch. And so sometimes she would drop her cash app. Like, that's a pretty normal thing to happen on Twitter. Like, hey, if you can support them, cool. If not, don't. Like, keep scrolling. Like, a lot of people dropped their cash apps, and so people were giving her money because they bought into all the things that she was saying, her experiences that she was sharing, her funny commentary on like pop culture and social issues. Like, people were invested, so they were like, yeah, we're gonna help out this black woman. So it's like, bro, you literally just stole from people. You literally just took money out of people's pocket under the impression that you were someone else. Like, get back that money. And the last and most important thing that has been so upsetting in all of this is like, everybody benefits from being a black woman except black women. There are so many men, gay and straight, black and white, who benefit from performing characters of black women. You got like Landon Romero, who we've been trying to get out of here forever, who constantly is mocking, in my opinion, black womanhood. You got Tyler Perry, who made a whole ass film career putting on the wig and a dress, acting like an old grandmother, Medea. Like, it's time and time and again, black men, non-black women constantly are characters, are copying black women, and they get put on. You see that shit constantly, and it's like, damn, you built your whole persona on a black woman, your whole identity of a black woman for financial gain. And you tried to flip it and say, well, you know, I did make room and give opportunities for other artists like Normani and Meg Thee Stallion. Like, they wasn't already getting put on them own selves. Like, that's not justifiable. One, that's not true, and even if it was true, that's just not justifiable. You came out and wanted this benefit for yourself, not for any other black woman. Like, let a black woman be ghetto, be hood, be loud, be rambunctious, and y'all will fucking degrade her. Y'all will shit on her. Y'all will look at her in so much disgust. But let it be a non-black woman do it, and y'all will uplift her. Y'all will kiki. Y'all will groove with her. Y'all will y'all will group together and shit on black women. That's what the most annoying part of this is. It's like there's so many regular ass black women in your everyday life, and y'all will sit there and degrade them. But let that shit get put on to a non-black woman, and we just uplifted them up so much, and it's like, black women can't benefit from being themselves. Like, what the fuck? There's like this huge music festival called Rolling Loud. It's here in the Bay Area. They even have one in New York. I'm sure they have a bunch of them all throughout the country. But all the women that they were showing to represent like the Bay Area were non-black women. And being from the Bay Area, I was like, so y'all couldn't find no black girls to come to this rap music festival? Like, it's in Oakland, California, and there's no black girls? And like, honestly, being from the Bay, like, I was like, these girls from Stockton and Modesto, probably Fresno, like Bay Area adjacent, like, it's a lot of them out there. Like, I'll maybe link it down below so y'all can see this clip, but it's like constantly people are putting on these performances, these personas of black womanhood, and they're just uplifted and just through the ranks of society, and then a black woman is still at the bottom. Like, fuck that shit. Black women are the foundation of our society, period. Literally, we're all copying black women, period. I learned so much shit from black women and black womanhood. So for us not to uplift them, and honestly for them not to be at the top of the society, is bullshit. It's clear in this work, and this EmoBlackThot thing was just a constant reminder of how much black women don't get to benefit from being themselves. And at the end of the day, with all this being said, the lesson to learn is like, be yourself. Be yourself. Like, I could imagine that it is exhausting and anxiety-ridden, like having to perform and be someone that's not you. No wonder Isaiah Hicklin was about to break. You know, like, that's just too much pressure. Like, that's one thing that I have to constantly remind myself. It's like, listen, you could love all these other YouTubers and stuff like that, love all these online social media personalities, but at the end of the day, when you turn on this camera, like, you got to be yourself. Like, I got to be me. Like, I can't be like everyone else that I see on YouTube and stuff like that, because that shit is fraudulent. It's not genuine. People will pick up on that eventually, and it's going to be really draining for me. Could you imagine me every time, like, hopefully, if this YouTube thing, you know, continues, that I'm able to get like opportunities and people want to, you know, speaking engagements, people want to see me in person, and I have to like perform and be someone that's not myself. That's exhausting. And it's not to say that, like, you know, anything with the camera, part of it is performative, but like for it to not even be like close to who I am would be tragic. So just when you go online, be yourself, and it's fine if you are anonymous, like, but he could have just been an anonymous black bi man, and we wouldn't have no questions, and we still would have been like standing for him in this reveal. But nah, he knew the benefit of what it is to be a black woman, and for that you complicit and you canceled. Nigga's account is deactivated. He also deactivated his personal Twitter as well. Like, I don't know how he gonna come back from this. Like, literally people on my timeline are still in shambles about it, still feel like they were gagged and gooped from the whole situation. And I feel for y'all, Black Twitter. I'm a little surprised too. It does feel a little empty without EmoBlackThot around, but y'all, this ain't it. One last thing is that black women will suffer the most from this. Black women's validity of their identity will be constantly questioned now. Black women will not be believed for who they are. And black gay men, black bi men, we're not going to suffer from this. No one's going to be looking at us. It's going to be questioning all the black women now. And it's like, there's some black women who remain anonymous for the sake of their safety, because there's a lot of fucking crazies out here. And sometimes the content that people put out is very pressing. And sometimes they don't feel safe behind, and they're able to hide behind an avatar. So black women unfortunately will suffer the most from this, and I think that's really the most frustrating part. It's like black women, all they did was just champion someone who they thought represented themselves and someone that they trusted, and now they're going to be the ones suffering the most from this. It's trash. So the last thing I want to talk about is Pharrell and him being on the cover of GQ magazine. So I was scrolling on Twitter and seeing that he had did a spread, an interview, and was on the cover of the latest issue. And on the cover of the latest issue, it had a plaster like new masculinity, and everyone was already kind of like chit-chatting about it, like posting the threads on it, talking about like the toxicity of that. And I was just like, you know, let me read the article, because a lot of these publications and corporations love like online outrage, specifically like black online outrage. So like, let me just see, because I don't want to be like putting my opinions and thoughts on this, and I haven't read and don't have the context. So I decided to read the article, and it was pretty like mundane for the most part at the beginning. And then we finally get to like him talking about the actual cover, and on the cover Pharrell's wearing like this kind of like puff coat gown, if you will. And so the interviewer was asking him about like his initial reaction to it. I have it written down, and his initial reaction was, "I am my most comfortable self when I'm being a character." And I laughed. I was at the gym on the treadmill when I was reading this article, and I laughed. I was like, wow, for real, really think that like when men wear feminine clothes, that like it's a joke. That someone who is gender fluid is just an act. You know, men who embrace their femininity, they're just characters. It was so insulting that I just had to laugh. I just had to laugh. I was like, wow, you think this shit is all for play? Okay, cool. So it was just really funny, because like the whole entire interview, they never mentioned the word femininity. Like, how you having a whole ass conversation about femininity and you never mention the word? Like, y'all hate femininity that much? Like, the interviewer even referred to this new masculinity as it being like a divine masculinity, and I was like, that sounds like a deal nigga to me. Like, these niggas will skirt around the word, like find any back doorway in, not to just simply embrace the word and the idea of femininity as if it's just some like viral disease. It was funny to me, honestly. It was like as if saying femininity was like the cooties or something. Okay. Anyone adding the word like new before any identity, like just run. I promise you. Like, Pharrell, this is not the first time that he been on some new shit. He was on that new black shit a few years ago. Now he on this like new masculinity shit. Like, Pharrell really think that he is just out here reinventing the wheel. Let him tell you, he has found like the most progressive blackness and masculinity out there is. Like, bro, if you don't sit your fraudulent ass down. He ended the interview with, yeah, when I go home, like I'll put on my Dickies, my sneakers, and my t-shirt. And it's like, damn, sis, you really consider men wearing dresses like as a performance. It was so frustrating, because like nothing he said like validated men and embracing their femininity and who they are. Like, it was as if like femininity and men don't exist. And it's like, I just be so sick of these celebrities with this pseudo intelligence. Like, y'all, that shit is in the air. Like, put your repellent on thick. Apply an extra layer today, because the fake wokeness is just out here strong. Like, sure, Pharrell looked really good in the spread, and his music is good, but it's like, don't look up to this man trying to like find some way to embrace something that's not masculinity, because this ain't it. He is not the one. If anything, look towards Billy Porter. That's a type of man who has said and embraced the word and the idea of femininity multiple times. As far as I'm concerned, someone like Pharrell is just here for the clicks and here for the likes, as far as when it comes to what he wears in his public persona and his public identity. Like, it's fraudulent, and I'm tired. But that's all my thoughts I have for today's video. This is kind of long. I thought that this was going to be kind of like rapid fire, quick, but that's okay. More content for you guys to enjoy, more for me to edit. that's okay. I'm here every single week with the YouTube videos. You guys go ahead and leave your comments below about the Basketball Wives reunion, about EmoBlackThot. I know, sorry for y'all, if you don't have Twitter, you won't really know what I'm talking about. But, you know, just more fuck shit with black women, that's all. And your thoughts on Pharrell Williams and new masculinity, like leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel and you have not subscribed and you enjoyed this content, please also subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.